Now that I've got the mud in, I'm going to install the coating membrane and the coating band to make it completely waterproof. Don't have to wait any length of time. You can do this the next day. You don't have to wait a period of time for the mud to cure or anything like that. You can actually install it the very next day. You always want to get a 2-inch overlap on any seams and use the Cody trowel with it, which is an 8 by 8 by 8 square notch trowel. You can use a V notch trowel. I forget the exact size because I always use square notch Cody trowel. And make sure you don't leave any globs when you're spreading the thin set, and you press it into the thin set really good and get good transfer to the membrane. So I always dry lay everything and cut everything in so that I know everything's gonna fit and I have all the pieces. So once I've done that, it's time to cut the hole for the drain. Now in the Cody drain kit, there's going to be a couple of templates, paper templates. One is for the hole that you cut in the floor, and the other one is for the hole you cut in the membrane for the drain. So use that template to, like I'm doing here, to mark out the hole for the bonding flange. Okay, so once I got it cut out, I'm going to put it back into place and line everything up, and then I'm going to fold it back and cement it down. Using the Cody trowel, which is an 1/8 inch by 1/8 inch by 1/8 inch square notch trowel. But I always flat trowel the surface that I'm applying the thin set, and that is to key in the thin set, and then I will notch out the thin set to gauge it out the correct depth of thin set for the Cody membrane. So I'm going to roll the membrane back into the thin set. Here I'm using a float to push the membrane into the thin set and get the transfer of thin set to the membrane. And you want to use something that's not going to damage the material, the Cody membrane. I will also go over this with a pie knife carefully. You don't want to put a rip or a tear in the membrane. So here I'm using a putty knife, a wide putty knife, to smooth it off even more. You want to be very careful that you don't rip the membrane or put a hole in it. And this is just the step that I do to make sure that I got no bumps or humps or accumulation of thin set in any one spot. Just make sure it's nice and smoothed out. Now, because this shell floor was wider than the actual membrane, I'm piecing it in. I'm just using some scraps of Cody membrane, and I'm going over the thin set and making sure that I get a 2-inch overlap at the seams in all directions. Okay, so I got one side done. Fold back the other side and do exactly the same thing, making sure I get good coverage of the membrane and good transfer. So in the corners here, I'm going to use the prefabricated corners that come with the drain kit. In the drain kit, you're going to get 4 inside corners and 2 outside corners. The outside corners you use for the curve. And so you use the same trowel, same thin set. You put the you spread your thin set and then put your corner in and smooth it into the thin set with a putty knife. Most times it's better to use 2 putty knives, one to hold the corner in place and the other one to smooth it into the thin set. The order which you do these steps does not matter. You can put your corners in first and then put the cutty band, or you can put the cutty band and then do the corners. Doesn't matter which way you do it. So this is a 5-inch cutty band that I'm using. If you wanted to, you could even put the corners and cutty band in before you put your membrane on the shower floor. Does not matter. As long as there's a 2-inch overlap, you can put them in any order you like. When you cut your piece of cutty band for the length, you don't have to go all the way into the corner. You just always need to have a 2-inch overlap. So going all the way into the corner is going to give you more buildup. So you spread your thin set and then place your piece of cutty band in. You can crease it if you want, if that helps you, to get a flat, even seam. And once again, with your putty knife, you press it in. Always being careful not to tear the membrane. So just because I have a double layer of Curdy band, I'm using a little thin set to feather it out so I get a nice smooth transition, because it's going to be small tile on the floor. It's actually going to be river rock. And I don't need to do it on the walls because I have very large tile. Okay, so that's it. All done. Let it dry. Okay, so this has had the weekend to set, and now I'm flood testing it for 24 hours, and then we can start installing some tile.